Hey everybody, it's Dr. William Clark here for Leadership Conversations. This is the show where we talk about leadership according to the world that matters to you. I know some of you are used to seeing the video podcast, and trust me, they're coming back. Just away on business travel, and I wanted to record a podcast anyway. Recording a podcast for me started out as an audio venture and became a video venture along the way. And so I'm used to this, but I hope that you hang in there with me until the videos come back and I'm back in studio to record. But I wanted to record this quick podcast. Read an article by Scott Motz, and he did an article about the Obamas who are launching a business or several businesses, entertainment businesses, and it's been noted that they've signed a deal with Netflix to produce some Netflix original content. And this article talks about the Obamas starting a business to provide podcasting and original audio content for Spotify. And obviously, by you listening to this podcast or watching my podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., you understand the podcasting world and you understand the power of it and the importance of it. And that's not the purpose of Scott's article, actually. He wrote this article because of the basis that the Obamas used to launch their business. And I thought these components that Scott identified are just so important, and I need to share them with you. And this podcast is talking about building your business on something that's important, and that is building your business on purpose. And with a purpose. That means having an intent behind your business, understanding why you're doing what you're doing, why you're building what you're building, and how to go from there. So there are a couple of thoughts I want to share with you based on this article. Number one, you got to discover your purpose. It's not something you create, or it's not something that you just walk into the business having. In some cases it does, I'm not going to discount that. But what Scott talks about is many times when you're starting your business or your venture, you're starting with the desire to do something, but the intent of the business tends to become refined as you start to put the infrastructure in place to get things off the ground, as you begin to lay the foundation for the infrastructure, the bones of the business, talking to partners, customers, stakeholders, etc. And then you begin to realize, okay, I'm hearing the feedback. I understand what we want to accomplish, and where's that synergy, and how do I align and connect with those things? So go through the discovery process. Secondly, Scott talks about being a role model in terms of being a role model in terms of operating on purpose with purpose. Okay, and ideally, this role model function that Scott's talking about, and I believe in this too, speaks to your ability to launch this business with a purpose, with a meaning, with a set of values, and modeling that set of values to and in front of your employees. When you're able to hire people and to show them the purpose and intent of every action you take, then it's easier for you from a leadership standpoint to hold people accountable for the same expectations. Setting a standard for them to operate on purpose and with a purpose, whether they're operating a department, a project, or something in between. It's easier for you to say, hey, here's a good example of how I've done this over the years, how this is playing itself out currently in the business, and I think you can follow this example. So being a role model when it comes to operating with purpose is key. He talks about internalization. You got to internalize the intent. It has to be knitted to the depths of your soul. Your purpose has to be. It has to be a part of the fabric of your being and your moral compass and your ethical standards. And the reason for that is so that every piece of the business will have a natural element to it, a natural course to it. If you are unable to do that, if you are unable to have purpose and intent knitted to the fabric of who you are, then it becomes very difficult for you to operate in authenticity. And when you, as the business owner, as the leader, as the department head, as the middle manager or the frontline representative, lose your authenticity, your customers will see it, they will feel it, they will begin to internalize it, and it becomes very difficult to replace that lack of authenticity because customers will see it and it impacts the business. You'll lose business there. So you got to internalize it. Next, he shares value. He says value is important. We need to value certain standards. We need to value intentionality and purpose. Obviously, the purpose of this podcast. We need to value certain behavioral norms and expectations. We need to value certain outcomes. We need to value certain exchanges and interactions we have with customers and with team members. We need to value things. Place a value on it. Let people know what you stand for, what you believe in, what you expect, what you anticipate. Let people know. Let that be known. Let it be clear. And you need to make sure you measure that value on a regular basis and be consistent in your desire to see those values manifest in your business. And lastly, you got to evangelize. In other words, you got to sell. You got to sell this to your change agents. You got to sell this to employees. You got to sell this to peers in the marketplace. Sell this to stakeholders and customers and interested parties. Evangelize people on the message of your business, of your nonprofit, of your church. For every project that I'm involved in, I'm constantly in an evangelistic mode, selling people on what we're doing, letting them know about the gospel of this program or this project or this business, and why linking up with this project or business or program or entity is going to make sense for you and your business and your daily operations and everything you got going on. You got to do the same thing for your stuff, for those things that matter to you, because if you're not evangelizing others on what it means to do business with you and your project and your business and your company and your church and your nonprofit, then who will? Yes, it has to start with you. Do everything on purpose and with purpose. That being said, let me purposely invite you to like and subscribe to our social media platforms on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Let me also invite you to subscribe utilizing your favorite podcasting platform, because I want to make sure we are connected. You and I are staying connected, sharing good information, sharing good content together with each other. This is Dr. William Clark here for Leadership Conversations. Appreciate your time, appreciate you connecting and listening, and look forward to seeing you in the next show. Peace.